Setting up the meeting. Welcome, viewers, to another African Healing Podcast with your host, Dr. Sherry Manjaro Tao. Today, we have a special guest here with us. His name is John Zulu from Zambia. So we apologize in advance if the audio is a little choppy. We'll see if there's any technical things, we could work on the technical issues as we go along. And so it's good to see everyone. Thanks for tuning in this wonderful Sunday, spending a little bit of your time with us, sharing your Sunday with us. So there's some important things that we want to address and that we want to get more information about. And this is why I felt it was important for Mr. John Zulu to give us some answers and to be with us to share his knowledge, because the last segment that we did, you weren't able to be on the call with us. And when I met you the first time, you said that you were a cultural anthropologist, and that I've never heard of that before, and I'm sure a lot of our viewers have not heard that title before either. So we want to learn more about that and, know more about your background as well. And so today I'd like to introduce our guest, Mr. John Zulu, and we also have the wonderful Mr. Stephen Banda also available if we should have any questions. So tell our viewers, Mr. John Zulu, first of all, where you're from and what it is that you work on in Africa.
Thank you so much, Dr. Cherry. My name is John Zulu, as you have alluded to. I'm currently in Zambia, Livingstone. Livingstone actually is the home for the mighty Victoria Falls, which is a transboundary property that is shared between the state parties of Zambia and Zimbabwe.
Okay.
It is actually one of the 7 natural wonders of the world. So as a cultural anthropologist, my work simply in simple terms, it just tells understanding the contemporary way of life of people, how they live, their belief systems, and how they value everything that is around them. So I'm talking about the forest, the landscapes, and what meanings they put in them, and in turn, how that meaning actually drives their values.
Well, this is a divine appointment, don't you think? Because, we're now working with the African Free Trade Agreement. How does that, all come together as far as you understanding all of these different cultures and people? Because as you know, we were all divided in the past. And we're still divided according to language, culture, geography. We as Black people don't understand each other, trust each other, or know each other's potential. So how do we bring all of this together to work together and to make progress?
So you're bringing to light one of the case studies that I'm working on. I was recently in Liberia, in Monrovia. It is actually a very sorry sight, I should mention, because on Providence Island, which we're trying to rework, it's a place where actually the first Black African American slave traders or free slaves were brought back actually to Africa. And the divide is real. It's very significant. And talk about language itself, it's also there, it's evident, it's tangible. And so what I felt and what I saw is that what can actually bring this divide together is both part understanding each other, that they're coming from one origin. And secondly, is that appreciating that all of us are one and the same people. You may be my relative, but you just don't know. And so having that in perception, it's something that can be able to bring us together. That's also understanding the cultural, elements and backgrounds that we're coming from. So it's something that I've seen people coming back, appreciate, and learn about the African cultures.
Right.
And once that is done and people appreciate and uphold them, then I'm seeing that divide actually being breached up.
Outstanding. So I'm trying to trace my roots, my ancestry, not too much, because I could like go to Africa and be around certain people. And then I know, yeah, you folks, you're my people, because you eat the same thing, you act the same way. And
You look Zambian.
I might be Zambian.
Yeah.
I'm sure, because a lot of Zambian, I'm sure, are from the Bantu tribe. Is that correct? A lot of Ugandans and Zambians. Yeah, we're originally Bantus. We might have been called something different afterwards. But the Bantu people, were good-looking people like yourself, and yeah, so we can, and I don't know. There's the West African people and there's East African. Their like mannerisms are different because in West Africa, the women there are louder. When I talk to my friend her name is Catherine from Uganda, she'll tell me like, I don't know what's wrong with those West African women. I don't know if it's the sun or what happened to them, because the women from Zambia and Uganda, they're like, did you sleep well last night, darling? How are you feeling today? Can I get you anything? But West African women, they're more like warriors. So I think I'm like a mix of both, because I'm like that, but then I'm like a warrior kind of person as well. I will fight, for my rights, for my family, for my people. That's just in me. So I think I'm like a combination. I don't know, maybe a Shanti warrior and, in Zambia, Bantu, I don't know. Anyway, so I'll get help me trace my roots. I'll get your thoughts about that another time. But for now, we want to know, as far as international development, right, as one people, not as divided people anymore, right? How can we, communicate certain things that will help our people trade more on the continent and around the world? That's number one. And also use technology, be able to access technology.
I think first and foremost is knowledge. Even scripturally, the Bible says, my people perish for lack of knowledge. Africa is a very rich basin of talent. Talk about skills. It's because of this resilience that, we have gone through oppression. And so we've developed some kind of resilience that we're able to sow in different form of weather system or patterns. Whether it's hot season, we're able to stand. Whether it's cold, we're able to survive. There's this tenacity that is in us that we have been able to develop over time. And talk about feeding ourselves. Africans are people that, of course, the West, will show pictures of, hungry babies, skeletal bodies. That's not Africa. It's a lie. It's something that they have been trying to manipulate to show how Africa is. I've had visitors coming to visit me, and they are shocked to see buildings. They're shocked to see tarred roads. They go in the townships, even in the village, people are able to speak English and they're able to write. And so people say, wow, we thought you people stay in you sleep in the trees. So that is the perception that the West has been able to develop in Africa, and that is intentional. Talk about trade itself, we're able to grow our own food. We don't worry about pollution because our air is clean, our water is clean. I'm able to go in the river and drink water because it's clean. I'm able to grow vegetables in my backyard. We have abundance of land. And so it's because of certain forces that are around us that we're able to actually break even, that are trying to force us down or repress us because of selfishness, I would say. But Africa, go anywhere around Africa, people are healthy, people are happy, they're welcoming, and we're able to eat our own food. So
well, that's
now
Zambians. That's Zambians and a lot of people from East Africa, what you just said. How can they have this unpretentious humility? What is it with the, Black people from the East compared to a lot of people on the West side of Africa? How did they develop this? Is it Christianity? What do you think allowed them to be so peaceful and, family oriented and just have more humility than pride and ego that they're showing the world?
I think one thing that really brings that difference between us, between especially the Sub-Saharan Africans and the West Africans, I think it's also the colonial masters. Sad to say that, because much of Sub-Saharan Africa was governed by the British. Much of West Africa, North Africa, they were governed by much of the French and the Portuguese. It's so sad that even today, you find most of the West African countries, though they are independent, but they're still paying homage to state parties like France. So you find their raw materials, they still go to France. And when you look at the amounts of development, you find that those that are in West Africa, they're least developed compared to Sub-Saharan Africa. So I think also that plays a critical role in terms of that divide.
I see. Yeah, now it's starting to make a lot of sense. Yeah. So
because when I go to West Africa, you find, I think it's less than 10 to 20% that have got access to electricity.
right.
And then you ask yourself, what are the colonial masters saying and doing about it? And France is all quiet and is still receiving. Talk about timber, talk about trade. Timber still comes from Africa and it goes to France, which is quite very sad. And there's least actually what they're doing in terms of developing those countries or paying back to those countries.
Yeah, so I don't know if you know anything about my story, but recently, as recent as last year, I left the United States and I went to the Gambia because I was feeling sick and nothing I was doing. And I went to the doctor and they were saying, we don't know what's wrong with you. And I was looking at my lab results and everything was indicating like leukemia. And I was just convinced that I had leukemia and I needed to, whatever, medication they had in the United States, it wasn't going to help me because nothing was working anyway. So I packed up and I went to the Gambia. And as soon as I got there, maybe a few weeks later, I was fine. I was back to normal, drinking fresh water, had fresh air, fresh food, my people around me, and I was bouncing back, immediately. So, and then luckily, I called my doctor's office and the nurse practitioner talked to me. And talking to my doctor, I thought I was like, at death's door. And I spoke to the nurse practitioner and she was like, yeah, there's two things that are off, but with leukemia, there's a third one that's off and that you don't have that third one. And I was like, really? It's not leukemia. So something similar to, to that, but now I'm healed. I had to go back to my roots, to be healed, because I couldn't trust whatever they were doing. You see, my doctor didn't even understand what was wrong with me. He couldn't even tell me. And then I got my healing. And then afterwards, they were saying, don't worry about it. So
I'll tell you something about that. It's because Africa is rich in what is known as indigenous knowledge systems. And Africa is very rich in traditional management systems. So when you look at these two elements, when you talk of indigenous knowledge systems, we do not need to go to a hospital or a pharmacy to be healed, because knowledge itself, it's passed on from the elders going down to the children. So when I'm at work, because I work at a World Heritage Site, natural site, which is the Victoria Falls World Heritage Site, and I develop a stomach upset and I have a running stomach, I don't need to go to the hospital, because I'll look around for Combretum imbebe, which is a plant or tree, and I'll just chew the leaves, and within 2 minutes, I'll be okay. Okay, so if I've got flu or if I've got a cough, we don't rush to the hospitals. And that is why, if you were to look at the COVID cases when it came on the scene, Africans, people were thinking actually that would be the end of Africa. But we remembered that, we've got this rich knowledge basis. And we just went into our base and we just got what we needed to chew and we were okay. We got the vaccine mainly because we needed to travel internationally, because you can't travel internationally if you don't have a certificate. But trust you me, come to malaria, come to anything, we use indigenous knowledge systems. Talk about traditional management systems. For example, look at climate variations which are happening. We are able to, the elders will tell you to say, look, this year there will be flood, well in advance. And for them, they're able to look at how, the birds are flying, which direction they're flying, and they'll tell you, I think there'll be a flood, prepare. So we don't need meteorologists, we don't need whoever, but it's because of the knowledge systems that are there, and they're able to pass them on to us, and we prepare in advance. And that's one thing that Africa is so rich in. Everywhere you go, we have got these traditional management systems.
Yes, you are absolutely correct about that, Mr. John Zulu. I can't even begin to tell you what we're going through in the United States. A lot of things that I know because, my family, I was born in Jamaica. My family, they're Jamaicans, and they rely on different herbs and the land to, heal us and nourish us. And if you say someone in our family needs to go to the doctor, they're like, oh my God, this is the most awful thing you can. But over here in America, everybody goes to the doctor like every, 6 months. And it's, if you ever say that to Jamaicans, they're like, oh my God, what's going on? So we are like mostly relying on, our herbs, our spices, our land, what's growing on the land to heal us and to sustain us. My point is that a lot of what we get in America, it's packaged, okay? And a lot of our people here don't realize it might say, we were talking about one of the products from Zambia, like hibiscus. I forget what they might call it in Zambia. They call it something different in the Gambia, but it's the same hibiscus that we have in Jamaica. It's a red leaf and you make tea and it's a detox. I don't know if maybe Stephen remembers the name of it, but if you buy certain things here, moringa, hibiscus, it's not as powerful as what we get in Africa. What's coming from Zambia or the Gambia. It's not as powerful. The Chinese, they're controlling certain markets. The Lebanese, what we're getting, it's like maybe 80% of it, it's not even, it's vegetable oil as far as moringa. It's not even real. We don't even get real products. Now imagine if we could get the real product that's from Africa with all the power behind it, you know, maybe the pharmaceutical business would go out of business, you know? So
Yeah.
yeah, so this is what we're trying with now. I'm going to invite Adebayo, we call him Bayo. He has a supply chain company, and he's trying to connect businesses in Africa, build that infrastructure that supports entrepreneurs and businesses in Africa and America and globally. So when we hear more from him, maybe we could all just, you know, put our big brains together and figure out how to be successful at helping the local farmers in Zambia, the local people there, the workers, the manufacturers there to export, because Zambia has some perks as far as with the United Nations, some things are duty free. There's some trade incentives that they have. And I was talking to Stephen's wife, and she wasn't getting the hibiscus from Zambia. Isn't that right, Stephen?
Yes, it is.
So, how can we, where do we begin as far as, you know, securing certain of these healing products from Zambia, getting them to our people and getting into the market?
Again, I think it comes about to sharing knowledge and opportunities. So like you come like this and they'll say, oh, look, we need this product. It's very easy here to mobilize because we have abundance of land, we have abundance of waters, and labor, of course, we're able to work. And so if you are able to just say, look, guys, I need 2 tons of, what's the term? What's the term now in ecology? Indigenous, moringa, and please supply it to me in terms of leaf, whether pounded or packaged in this form or that form. People go right up to work. It's because there are these opportunities. And so, like today in my country, Zambia, our president, who is a friend to Stephen, he's challenging us to go back and farm, because Zambia has the potential. It's actually known as the food basket of Africa, because currently now we are providing a lot of corn or grain to our neighboring countries. We're exporting a lot of tomatoes, onions, talk about anything. And so if you avail that opportunity and say, guys, we need this quantity of moringa, please, can you supply us? I tell you, people will be on it and they'll be able to do it in no time.
This has to happen.
Yeah.
I didn't hear about moringa till I went to the Gambia, and you could use the whole tree, the bark, they call it the skin, the leaves, the seeds, everything. So I put the oil from the seeds on my hair and my hair starts growing, right? And if I come back to the United States, I use the stuff that they have in the stores here and nothing happens. So I was like, wait a minute, something's not right, So then I do my research and I find that 80% of what we have is vegetable oil.
Yeah.
Not moringa, or it's diluted, so that's why nothing's happening when you use products. Yeah. And you're paying like 3 times the amount of money for it. I paid like $4 for my little seed oil in the Gambia, and here $10.99. I'm paying for something that's not real. Do you see what
which is unfortunate?
That?
It's very unfortunate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very unfortunate. And so if you have those business opportunities and you want people to engage or supply with with things. It's very easy to mobilize here. Very easy.
Okay, so we're going to have Bayo on our program next month. He agreed to come in August, hopefully the first weekend in August. And he has an office in the Zambia. Isn't that correct, Stephen?
Yes, I think you said he has an office there in Lusaka.
Yes. So
Okay.
so we're trying to make an effort to connect everyone so we can get started ASAP with the supply chain and, helping the economy of the Zambia and getting our people to stop wasting their money, if they're not in Africa, because we're losing out. People don't realize it. We're not in Africa. We are at the mercy of other people who are tricking us, selling us things that are not, real, or, it's just a waste of money in a lot.
Yeah.
And I think to piggyback on what Mr. John Zula said, the president, our current president, actually now Dr. Hakainde Chilema, he has a 100-year vision for Zambia that he has to compact in 8 years. That is gonna run. When we met and that 1 hour we talked in Washington, D.C., the man has vast knowledge, and not only knowledge, but a tangible vision for what Zambia should be as a country, for how Zambia should collaborate with other African countries and internationally, and for how the people of Zambia's lifestyle in terms of their socioeconomic cultural status needs to improve. So he has to compact that in 8 years. So what we need to do is exactly what Mr. Zulu said. We have to be active participants in looking at what can we do. And we can during this time, because the market is ripe and ready, we can start mobilizing resources that can come here to America that are organic, that are very potent, powerful in terms of their use. And what is happening now in America, in fact, is a prophetic time in terms of where it's moving. If you look at America, for the first time, America is advertising fufu like no man's business. African restaurants are mushrooming at almost every corner in the US. And when you go, like 2 days ago, I was hungry. I was at the office, so I decided to go to an African store to eat. I was the only Black person in an African store. There were Asians there. There were white people there eating nshima. So we have because they try it and they love it. They love the organic meats and vegetables that the African stores are cooking. So those now, instead of reinventing the wheel, those now become our points, our focus points for where we can supply the products that are readily coming out of Zambia. And having a cultural anthropologist like you, Mr. Zulu, it actually enhances the topography, because now you have a framework that can deliver quality in terms of how you conceptualize your management of your cultural understanding. Now you have a platform where you can teach people and give them awareness. I was actually laughing 2 days ago. I found out that AI, as powerful as it is, it's actually now mimicking people in a very strange way. So AI had developed a system where it was trying to accommodate a few things online. And then when the computer wanted it to do the capture, to say, are you sure you're not human? Just ensure you're not human by verifying these boxes. AI could not do that. So what did AI do? AI went online and advertised for a job, hired someone just to come and verify capture. And it took managers of that company 3 months to realize that AI had actually hired someone to prove on behalf of AI that they are not human. So you see,
Oh,
you see where the world is going. So when we take that, Dr. To, when we take that, Honorable Zulu, we combine them with AI. Now AI will tell us exactly what are the most common diseases that people in America, in Asia, in Russia are suffering from, and what natural products do we have as a Zambian country that we can. And with a president who is becoming actually our chief marketing director, it becomes very easy to go to these countries and supply chain. And what does that do? It trickles our economy, because now we have people working, because to produce that, we need people to work. So our economy is going to improve, our GDP is going to improve, and the whole topography is going to improve. So I think we're at the right time. We have the right man on our cultural spectrum. And I think you have some work to do, Mr. Zulu. So kudos to you.
thank you.
Yes.
We're ready to, yeah.
Yes. So tell us some more about what a cultural anthropologist is trained to do.
So a cultural anthropologist is trained to understand people's ways of life, despite wherever they are, their traditional, we have what are known as traditional ceremonies, the meanings that are embedded in therein. And so I specialized in what is known as material culture. And so in material culture, it's where, for instance, like your clothes, your dress, there is a particular way that you treat your clothes. Could it be a function, where you're going, whom you're going to meet? And depending on all those variables, there's a particular cloth that you pick. So if you're coming to meet me or you're going to an executive meeting, it's something that you wear. And once you wear that thing, there's a way that it makes you feel. You know, you have the confidence and things like that. So it's about those, that is actually material culture. And so I specialized in material culture and how material culture, you know, develops identity, value systems, and how it just, you know, makes us be who we are. And so Africa is so rich in material culture. And so that is what I was trained to do. And that's what I do. So I'm going to share a link.
So what can you tell about the, you know, the material that I'm wearing today?
It's actually you. And the material, you'll find that the material now, in other ways, you saw it, you know, in a shop and you liked it, you bought it, okay. And so as time went on, you put power into that material, whereby now it dictates to you when you should wear it. That is why you go in your wardrobe, you look at it, you say, no, not this, but
right.
Yeah, this one. And once you wear it, there's a way that it feels.
Okay. So
It just changes the way, yeah.
Honorable John Zulu, how come there's some men that buy things and they wear it and they look absolutely crazy in it, and we can tell if they are married or not, okay? Because why do men do these? Why did, yeah, I'm sure women do it too, but go ahead, tell me.
It's still the power of material culture. So you see, you are able to interpret. Okay, so it just shows you that material culture has power in it. It has power in it. So it's able to create an interpretation of the certain person. You know, how elegant are they looking or ugly are they looking? Still, that is an interpretation in itself. So that was what I was trained to. But now it's in the different traditions. Talk about the Gambia. I'm sure you visited also the stone site. Did you in Gambia? There is a site in Gambia where there are those stones.
I know. I don't know. Something was bothering me about going there. I don't know. Because when I went to Senegal, you know, they took me to certain places and I was just like, I was just messed up. I was like, I don't even want to be here. You know, it was just so, it's painful. It was so painful. So they were telling me
So
about,
did you go to Gori?
yeah, it was
That the Gori Island?
the most absolute painful. Every picture I took was, I was in tears. It was absolutely, so I was like, they were telling me they wanted me to go to this other place in the Gambia that you're talking about. And I was like, certain things that just can't, I haven't processed yet. I probably need therapy, you know, but I could feel my ancestors, you know, what they went through.
That is the power of material culture. And so you'll find that they communicate to you and you communicate to them. So I've just sent a link to Stephen of one of the book chapters that was just recently published. I'm sure you'll share with you, and then you'll be able to. I'm actually looking at the intangible aspect of World Heritage Sites and recognizing the invisible. And it's a case study of the Musotunya Victoria Falls, Paranjari, which is in Benin, and also the Matobos, which is in Zimbabwe. So I was the main author there. But once you read that chapter, you'll be able to see the power of the intangible, which lies in this material culture, which is very, very powerful.
Yeah, Africa just has a way of healing us, reminding us, you know, and helping us to grow. And if more of us will go there, we will grow in more areas of our lives. Everyone's thinking of finances, but there's more to life than that. And just being stable and just finding direction. It's hard to find that for a lot of us here in the United States. They're struggling to find that, you know, to find your rightful place. We're just like in this artificial environment. And if we could just get back to our natural environment, we could just like flourish, you know, in all areas of life, health-wise, educationally, financially, if that's what you're after. It's all there. It's like going down you ever go down one wrong way street, go down the street and you're not going in the right direction. And it's like, you're just like scared. How do I get back? You know? So getting back to Africa is how we get back on track and getting back with each other, you know, in spite of all of the atrocities and all of the unfortunate things that happen, you know, we have to come back to the motherland. Yeah.
And I think that is key to one of the questions that you asked earlier. I think it's people, especially Americans, accepting what happened. And I think you and Stephen can form up, you know, what is known as a healthy tour, where, you know, a group of people can come on a tour to Zambia or to any of the African countries, but Zambia will be the best, I promise you, where you just see and interact with people, interact with nature. I mean, I'll take you to a place whereby you just walk so close, you know, to wild elephants. And I tell you, that is a therapy on just by itself. It's something that we're still enjoying, and a lot of people still do come just for that.
Yeah.
You can think about it, Stephen.
Oh yeah, there's places in the Gambia that's just, you know, serene and beautiful, and the water's just flowing. And I'm like, I'll never leave. I looked at, you know, my husband, I was like, I'm never leaving here. You know, this is all I need. This is it. Yeah. So, and I can't wait to get back. I can't wait to see this. Because, you know, when you go up to the Blue Mountains in Jamaica, it's like, okay, this is like the closest to heaven we can get on earth. I'm not leaving here. This, you know, there's places like that around the world where if you never have to, you know, go work again or look for something in life, you found everything that you've ever wanted. And for a lot of people, when they come to the Zambia, they're going to feel that, you know, fulfillment in their lives. Yeah. And it's going to enrich them, you know, as well. So there's a lot of places in Africa like that and around the world, but it's more, I don't know, there's more connection, I guess,
Yeah.
for a lot of us when we're there in Africa experiencing that.
True. It's something that you'll never regret. I mean, there's just something about this continent. I've been privileged to travel around the world. But I tell you, whenever I cross the Atlantic Ocean, coming this way down into Africa, you know, I feel say, okay, I'm home. And so please invite as many people come. I'll be so honored to host you here.
Yes, well, I will get with Stephen. We will get our Zambia tour scheduled. Is that, can you hear us, Mr. Stephen Banda?
Yes, I can.
The most interesting man in the world. Yeah, come on, viewers, come and meet Mr. Stephen Banda and Honorable John Zulu. They will make sure you have an awesome experience. I know Stephen will. He's rolled out the red carpet for me in the past. And I don't think I'll be able to ever stop thanking you for allowing me to join the Zambian community, be adopted by the Zambian community. This is just awesome. And I guess it's because you're my people. I'm part of you. So it's just an awesome experience.
By the way, Dr. Tao, I forgot. I got a call 2 days ago from Efe Okala. I think I told you about her. She had just landed in Germany, and she had just left. Actually, Jesse Jackson retired, so she was asked to be one of the guest speakers there. So she flew to Germany, and when she arrived, she was like, "Stephen, I had to call you because you were on my mind." And so her and me talked about you, and so she's back in New York, I think tomorrow or Tuesday. So I told her when she gets there, I want her to meet you, and she agreed to meet with you. You will find Efe extraordinarily interesting. I mean, she is the owner of Impact Hub, a very powerful NGC that is a conglomerate that has shaped a lot of African girls. She takes African girls, women, and older, younger, middle age, doesn't matter, and effectively trains them to be independent and funds their projects, and they grow and they become, useful to the community and the society. She was an African Union Person of the Year, I think, a year or two ago, and she was on those cover magazines and all. And she's spoken in a lot of things, and she's also an attorney for Chess Manhattan. So very, very interesting young lady. Yeah, so when the president came last year during the UNGA, I invited her to come down to the gala, and I said, Efe, I want you to meet the Zambian president and first lady. So I was able to introduce her to Ms. Mutindai Chilema and the president, and in fact, she's working on trying to get investors to build a smart hospital in Africa. And those cost over $700 million. And she was telling me, Stephen, let's jump on the bandwagon, see if we can build that in Zambia. And so we've been discussing that. And so you will be very happy to meet F. And I think you and her are going to just strike that chord of, serendipity, because I think you've got a lot of things, that propinquity, flow together. So I think you love her, So yeah, so she agreed for that meet, and when she flies back, I will let her know you are in town, because I wasn't sure if she had gone to actually no, she was in Rome, not German, because I was telling her you might be in German. I apologize. I was telling her that you might be in German, but she was in Rome when she called me. Yeah, so now that I confirm you are still in the country, I will confirm with her, and I think you guys should have a sit down and meet this week. So you'll hear from me by Tuesday.
Oh, most excellent. This good news after good news. When you're like in certain circles, good things just happen every day. This is wonderful. Thank you so much for remembering me. Honorable John Zulu, our time is almost up for today's program, but I wanted to put something out there before you go. I don't know if you can add anything to the fact that our people, maybe not on the continent, but in America, in other places where the climate is different, we're not getting a lot of sun, okay? And that is causing, a lot of our people don't realize this triggers different inflammation issues, autoimmune issues in our bodies. And I did it myself. I don't like to take supplements, and I'm not getting a lot of sun. So different things started happening to my body. I lost a lot of hair because of that. People don't realize you don't have enough vitamin D, you'll lose your hair. You're gonna get, some people even get cancer because of low vitamin D. These things are like linked, and our people don't realize in a lot of cases what's happening because they're here in America. They're thinking vitamin D supplements are enough. It's not. You also need to have real sun as well. What products can you think of from the Zambia could help us, besides us getting on the plane, coming to Zambia, we're going to do that. But what can you share with our audience right now that they can do to get started? Where can we go? Because we're not going to go out in the sun. It's like 97 degrees here in Florida where I'm at right now. We're not going out there. So what can we do that as a Zambian that could help us?
Doctor, on that part, I'm not much into medicine. So I'm unable to give you a correct or precise prescription as to really what you can be able to do. But of course, like you mentioned, to me, I think it's about just coming down here and having some fresh air and having some cool, sunlight and sunshine in the African, weather pattern. Unfortunately, I don't know anything about how I can prescribe.
Right.
But if it
there's certain mushrooms, there's certain fish, all of that, so I was thinking, I didn't know if maybe Zambia had something specific like that you are using, to help. I know you have the sun. So what else do you need, right?
What I've seen actually my wife use a lot is actually wild aloe vera.
Okay.
Wild aloe vera. Yeah, that's what she uses a lot for her hair, for her eyes, and also for her skin. She'd actually either put it up in water and then make some kind of a solution, and she drinks like a juice. She'd cut a little bit of a lemon in it and then put it there. And also for her eyes, I saw her crazily, putting some stuff in her eyelids. I said, "What is that?" She says, "No, I want to control, the muscles around my eyes so that, they don't look old," according to her. I saw, and even before she sleeps, there are times where I should get a wild aloe vera, just the juice. It's right up in our yard here. She'll just get the juice and then wrap it up around her body. Then she'll sleep in her pajamas like that. And then she says, it keeps her skin, look
and
fresh and young.
Hair. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so those are some of the things I've seen her do. Yeah.
Yeah, imagine aloe vera from Africa. It didn't even cross my mind. Can you imagine
Wow.
What's that, Stephen? Say that.
No, I'm saying, wow, that's amazing. Mr. Zulu, aloe vera, is that what we call onion daula, right?
No, it's
This is the inside
Even though she-
tell us. Ah. All right, tell me the secret. I'm listening.
no, no, Stephen is being naughty here now.
Ah. Well,
No, Stephen, that's the plan. I'll send you also a link on the aloe vera so that you see the type of aloe veras that we have, especially here, which are actually wow. There are various species, and most people actually know what the different species are good for. And
Oh, wow.
so, like, yeah, and like the ones we have here, most people use them for different things, for curing, skin infections and things like that. Yeah.
Amazing.
yeah, there's
Wow.
so much to discover in Zambia, in Africa. And viewers, join us on this journey. We're getting started. We're not wasting any time, because if you're looking at any of the predictions out there, they're saying what we see right now, what we have today, is going to be completely different next year, by the end of next year. So
Yeah.
let us, take action now and be a part of something that's going to be, new and different, and not, it's what they say, what's old is new, nothing new under the sun. Come on, we know that, but
Yeah.
we're going to package it into a new form, our African power. Okay, it's coming to a place globally near you. Okay,
Oh, yes.
so thank you for giving us the information that you shared with us today, Honorable John Zulu. I appreciate your time and, for spending the time with us and sharing your knowledge. And I hope you will be able to come back and join us again and bring more good information and good ideas. We will certainly, thanks for that idea. I'll certainly work with Stephen with setting up a tour for our people so they can get their healing and blessings and, and closure. A lot of us need closure because we're trying to find out who we are and where we're from. So this has been an extraordinary moment, and I can't thank you enough. And I thank you as well, Stephen Banda, for being a blessing once again.
Thank you.
Are you based in New York?
Yes, I flew to Florida to see my brother Robert. He's my, younger brother. So you know how younger brothers are. They're always like, come on, come hang out with me.
No,
Great.
I will be in New York in September for some meeting. Maybe we could have a cup of coffee.
Yeah, that would be, I won't miss that. I will not miss that. And we're going to have good news for you. We're going to have our first tour set up, right, Stephen?
Yes.
So viewers, if you're interested in joining us on that Zambia tour, if not in 2023, by 2024, put your comments in the link below. You can reach me at drmamjaratal@gmail.com. Please follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. And don't miss the next episode. Next Sunday, we're here live every Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern. Any final words before we close our show today, Honorable John Zulu?
My final words is that, as Africans, we're blessed people. And it's because of certain governance systems that have been put in place to ensure that, Africans are suppressed, Africans are silenced, and Africans are put right up in a dark corner where they cannot say anything. But however, I strongly believe and know that Africans are blessed people. And amidst all the atrocities that Africans have gone through, talk about colonialism, slavery, mention all those. Africans have always been resilient. Africans have always emerged to be very strong. Africans are very clever because they're able to understand easily and perceive things quite easily. And so we are not a condemned people. We are not a dumb people, as people may think, or just slap words on us. But we're very special people, very special people. And I feel in myself that we are the people that's really, even living on this continent, it's something that was God ordained and God designed, that we are Africans, and I mean we're just the best in all angles.
And we're diverse people, and people need to understand, you know, our different cultures and, you know, habits and all of that. People think we're just like all the same. We're not. And that diversity makes us, you know, incredible people. Go ahead, Honorable.
And talk about that diversity. I've attended, you know, some ceremonies in Ghana, very unique. I'll be attending one in Nigeria, very unique. Talk about Zimbabwe, come to Zambia. I've got one of the oldest ceremonies, which is about 400 years old, and it's still being performed today, which is the Komboka ceremony. Very unique, and it's something that still gives meaning and value to the people themselves. So Africans, we are a blessed people, very extremely blessed.
I know that. Now the world is, you know, and of course they want to capitalize on, what makes us so unique and incredible. But they're all a part of us anyway, but we need to take control back from them because they have not done a good job with the little we were able to give them, our ancestors gave them. They didn't do good with it at all. So now we need to, take back our, you know, future, our culture, everything. They just try to misappropriate everything, don't they?
Because you see, Doctor, my argument is, even when new concepts are developed and floated on the table, for example, sustainable development, climate change, all these things, adaptive use and adaptive conservation, talk about all these things. I argue because I say that, you know, these things were already in existence. We knew already about climate change, and hence you find that people develop some climate resilience mechanisms here in Africa.
No, but these people here, they're saying nature hates us. Nature's trying to get rid of us. This is...
No, it's not true. And, you know, people are able to live, you know, there's that link, you know, between culture and nature. People live with nature here, you know, and so my argument is, even talk about sustainable development, people knew exactly where to go and do development and where to not. They knew all those things because there was that tight relationship between their cultural systems or patterns with nature itself. So there is that strong bond which is there. So even though people are developing all these, I just might say, okay, fine, you can do that, but on this continent, these things already existed. It's just that now we need to document them, and also so that people can be able to read and research using that material.
We can't give them all of our secrets because we know, you know, like the herbs and the plants and everything, they give us our superpowers. We can't tell them everything. Yeah.
No. It's sacred information we can't reveal today.
Right, we'll keep it,
Yeah, we'll keep it.
So, Mr. Steve Amanda,
yes, Doctor.
Your final words for us before we end our program today.
Well, my final words are to thank Honorable Zulu for this beautiful and very insightful platform, wealth of knowledge that he has given us in anthropology and the cultural understanding of the topology and landscape of Zambia, and for your intuitiveness in meeting him for 10 seconds and realizing that there's a wealth of knowledge that is embedded deep inside him, and to want him to come back to the shore. I am very honored, and I was excited, and I'm ecstatic actually to see what he has been able to bring out. And for sure, this reminds me that the biggest resource that Africa has is its people. People like Honorable Zulu with big hearts, big dreams, and visions. And those, I think, are what are going to make Africa the next big thing, because we have the people that are knowledgeable, and we have the people that understand, and we have the people that can help, and people that are honest with integrity, such as Mr. Zulu. So I am a very proud man today. So thank you so much, Dr. Tao.
Thank you, Mr. Stephen Banda. Please send my love to your family, and Honorable Zulu, I can't wait to meet you. And viewers, if you want to get in touch with us, you can reach me at Dr. Dr. and then mamjaratal@gmail.com.